Frank McCurry here at the 401k TV Genie Awards. I want to say congratulations
Thank you.
for being here, for being a finalist. Give us your name and the role you play at your company.
I'm Ed Dressel with Retire Ready Solutions. I am the president and owner of the company.
Okay, so what got you here? What's the honor about? How did you get here?
We help advisors, 401k advisors, also 403b, 457, and federal employees, but we're very good at helping advisors engage participants with increase in deferrals and finding outside assets.
Gotcha. And what kind of things did you implement? What kind of problems were you seeing, and what did you implement?
Well, one of the major problems is that when an advisor walks into the room, they will often talk about their credentials or fees, funds, plan designs, fiduciary, all the things that the participant really isn't that engaged about. A participant doesn't go, oh, I want to know what's a good plan design, unless they're really an outlier.
Sure.
The typical participant wants to know, how can I retire successfully? Most advisors with that question say, well, I'm going to talk to you about the academic side, but for your most important question, I'm going to kick you back to the portal. And participants just don't go to the portal.
Sure.
So what we have designed is a paper report that allows an advisor to bring a participant each a copy of where they are at. What does the retirement look like based on the census data? What does it look like for you? And not only, so you're giving 3 and you need to give 8, or increase by 8, and it's going to cost you a couple $100. But how does it affect their take-home pay?
Sure.
So a participant gets to see that. They go, oh, that's a little bit too much for me. We also show them how to take small steps towards it. So you can't go from 3 to 8 or 3 to 11. Can you go from 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 this year and take small steps towards retirement success? Show them how much it's going to cost in take-home pay. And what happens if you don't do anything this year? What happens if you wait a year?
Right.
What's the cost of that? And they get to see right away, you know what, I need to start moving in the right direction. And we've seen advisors have seen a lot of success.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about the results, some of the results you're seeing.
So give you a couple of results, both on the participant level and the trustee level. Gerald Wernett, both of these stories will come from an advisor in Dearborn, Michigan. When I met him, I said, tell me a fun story. And it's my favorite question to ask advisors because they all have a fun story. He said, we just rolled a simple plan into a K plan. We had 21 employees. We got 11 of them were participating. Of the 11, we got them all to increase their deferrals and electively roll their $1.5 million into the new plan. Of the other 10, they all started making deferrals, so he has 100% participation, and he found $1.1 million outside the plan. So he's engaged the participants, and he goes back year after year, and he's increasing the deferrals. On the trustee level, he went to a trustee meeting, and recently, he tells this story in a podcast we'll release next month, at a hospital. And they didn't have an advisor before, their fees were a little bit lower, and the first thing he gets before he talks is one of the trustees says, Gerald, your fees are too high, you need to lower them. Gerald says, hold on to that thought, let me give my presentation, and then you can bring up your concern. And he gives his presentation showing the education he can bring to the participant. He's proactive rather than being passive.
Sure.
And he got done with the presentation, stuff I just described, and he says, what are the questions or concerns? And that same trustee, and he says, maybe sarcastically, but the trustee says, you should be raising your fees, not lower them. I want to be sure you stick around, Gerald. And Gerald isn't commoditizing himself. He isn't trying to look like every other advisor. He's saying, I'm going to bring something to the room that's going to be different than the other advisors, and I'm really going to engage your participants.
Well, it sounds like he educated them in ways that they hadn't been before, and all of a sudden...
He's proactive in the education. Rather than saying, it's all up to you on how to get to retirement. He says, I'm playing that key role. And the other part of that is, when they get closer to retirement, they have a relationship with Gerald.
Right.
So when another company comes knocking on their door and saying, hey, I'd like to, do you want to roll your money out of your 401ks? Gerald says, I'm a key part of how they got there. We have a relationship, and he gets to keep them as clients and move them to manage their assets.
Sure, and you're not getting better than 100% participation.
That's
so
right.
That's great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you,
What do you
Frank.
think of the Genie Award so far?
This has been a fun time.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Great. Well, it's great having you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.